Okay, let's continue and do the mirror effect, and we will do this by setting a negative modulo in the copper. So this was our value for the byte width for the screen for 1-bit plane, and I bet we're using that in the copper to set the modulo. This is the modulo for the logo, which takes the logo byte width for this interleaved bitplane graphic that I explained interleaving in a previous video, and subtracts 1-bit plane to get the modulo. So this is the modulo value for the logo, and down here we have the screen bitplane pointers, which we modify in the main loop to make the whole screen bounce. And that's fine, and here's our modulo values. So we know our screen is 3-bit planes. Actually, we used a variable called font bitplanes. So we might as well use that to make it dynamic. And here we have some strange thing. A non-dynamic numeric value still staying when in fact, well, okay, yeah, we're using a margin there, so the visible portion is 320 pixels, and we're subtracting the visible portion. Now we don't need to worry about that so much, because what we want to do is put a weight and then put different modulo values at some position. This is our background color shade, and then basically we're off scot-free, and this is our weight for where the vertical, the VPOS counter wraps from hex FF to 0. So why not put a weight somewhere after that? You can check the display window start and stop for where our bottom edge of the screen is, but I'll just wing it and put whatever here. Now you can't set the modulo at any place, or at least from memory, when I used to make bad coproliths very early on in my career, if you set them at the wrong place, or if you set the bitplane pointers at the wrong horizontal position on a scan line, if you set them too late, for example, or set them while bitplane DMA is still running, then you can get crap on the display, basically. It should be safe to set them before any position that updates the bitplane pointers from the modulo values. So at the end of each raster line, these modulo values are added to all the odd and even bitplane pointers, so that what you want is to set them before that occurs. And the DF position is a good position for that, so that's why I use that. That's why that position is semi, well, it's a standard position. That's good to use. So here we go. Let's see if I get to eat my words, but normally that's what you do. So what we want to do is we want to get this value, and from that value we want to subtract two raster lines, right? If we subtract only one raster line, we would put the pointer back where it was on the previous line, which would make the logo, I'm sorry, the font, the scroller, repeat each raster line of pixels downwards. It would just repeat them forever down to the bottom of the screen. So we can try that. We have this value, which is the actual value to subtract. To subtract 1 scan line from that. So let's see if the scroller ever goes below that line. Otherwise, it won't be visible. So there you see the the repeat effect, and that's used in various vertical expansion effects and water effects and so on. Now if we move this weight up by 8 pixels, apparently we bounce somewhere around raster line hex 12, hex 112 or something. So now it sort of cuts into the font when it hits the bottom by 8 pixels, and if we do this, then half the font should repeat when it hits the bottom there. So that's repeating, and by doubling this we'll get the mirror effect. And of course the weight is far too high up, but as you can see, it's a nice little water effect already. So if we want, we could drown the font, make it seem like it's wading in water. For now I'll try this position. And that looks about right. Might be dipping a bit into it, so home in on that position. Basically because I'm too lazy to check at which position it bounces. And if we continue, we should get a gap. And that's what we're looking for. And I think we hit it there. Oh, we had a pause function. Excellent. Very useful. It seems we need to go down at least 1 pixel there. So this should mirror it, but we want 1 pixel space as well. That looks okay to me. So the next step is to modify the palette to make the mirror image slightly faded towards the background color. What I want to do is add a weight here to change the background color to some, I don't know, what background color do we have? We don't know because it says BG call. But let's say we up that to something like, just take one of these values. Try this. See how it looks. I mean, I rarely comment copper lists, I must confess, but we can go ahead and make divisions and stuff. Okay, bottom plate, start. And mirror split, something like that. And this should be sort of 1/3 up into the font, and the font was 24, so subtract 8. That makes it 0F. And also we want the plate to stop somewhere. And this, of course, can be outside the picture, but what I want to do is match it to where the screen is cut off. So check the DIW stop value, wherever it is. Come on. It seems we poked that, or what? Yeah, seems so. That's what you get for having a short memory. 640k should be enough for everybody. I'm gonna put a bookmark here. Not found. Let's see. Well, we can just check it. So, probably, okay, I misread that. Probably says it right here, yeah. So, from hex 4c down to hex 12c, right? And so that's the bottom plate start. Bottom plate stop. And that should be at hex 2c. Hang on, 2b rather. Because we're waiting for the end of line, so end of previous line, and then set the background color, which is not correct, of course. Unless we want a visible split at the right edge of the screen. Or not a split, but a step. And likewise here, 1007. And that should do us. And of course we need to reset this to some value, and I want to add some thickness to the plate, so and we can do this outside the screen, because even though bitplane DMA is turned off here by the display window stop, the background color can still be changed. So let's make it 4 pixels thick. And then we should go to black or something. What do we have? I don't know. Try that. We should have BG color, shouldn't we? And this, of course, should be something brighter or darker. I don't know. And try 2 to 5, so that's a bit darker. So let's try that, and you'll see what I mean. First of all, I think the start should be higher up, so let's try lifting it up, and also it should be more cyan in color. So did we have the font pal here? Right, so these seem strange values, but maybe we copy them from the picture. So yeah, we do. So font E -7 times 2. Check it in memory. So that starts at color 1, 2, 3, and so on. And pick one of these, 2, 3, 5 maybe. 2, 3, 5, 3, 5, 8. I'm gonna try with those. Got a comment, 3, 5, 8. Try with that later. And it's might work. Let's try this one as well. That's a bit too bright, I think. So how about 236? Just to jazz things up a bit. Yeah, it works for me. We could also go a little bit more gray, so 344 again. If you happen to have Deluxe Paint open, go ahead and... Oh, that's horrible. As a side note, colors are usually perceived in their surroundings. So this is actually cyan gray, but it looks yellow because we have a rather strong blue color around it. So that's why it looks horrible, even though it should look just fine if we had a black background, say, or a white background, or some background without any saturation to throw it off. So we do need some saturation to beat that out. We could try 346. That's a lot more calm and gray and so on, and offsets to the font colors. Let's try 235. We tried that, didn't we? So 236 is fine, I think. We could go 345, but I think that would be too horrible. Yeah, way too gray. So 236 and don't look back. And here's where we want... that was too saturated by far. It should, to make a plate out of it, it should be something like that. So I'm going to go from something to that value using a few weights. And since we have 4 scan lines, I will use 4 scan lines. I mean, this is all design. You can deviate from this all you want. So this should go to, let's see, brighter or darker. Well, let's let's copy this so we can just, no, I'll just lower it down. And fading this slowly back to black, up to black. Well, the image has a 12-bit palette, so 16 steps for each component is all you got, so maybe I should go 346, 235, 1, 2. No, that will be too saturated, I think. 1, 2, 4. Let's try it. 0, 1, 3. See how it looks. Not quite as expected. We might do better with some kind of bright line and or reversing it or whatever. Let's try reversing it. It might look okay if we make the brightest color a bit brighter. So I'm going to remove the darkest color, renumber them to move them one down. Hang on. And add a those there, might even go halfway to white. Yeah, that was no good. Plus we have the wrong weight there, so. I don't know, what do you guys think? I'm gonna lower it down, 4, 5, 8. Here's Mr. Cat again. Hello, Mr. Cat. We might raise this to be more cyan. Actually, that was a bit horrible, I think. On the other hand, we could go like this. I'm looking for some sort of metallic look, but I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to hit that. That's as bright as I'd dare to go. You know what? I'm gonna chicken out and go 4, 6, 7, I think. Just to end my torment. Not sure that looks good, but anyway. Final adjustment. So next, to darken the colors of the mirror reflection. That didn't look good, so revert. We do that, of course, by sussing out the font palette, and well, what we should do is not to darken it, but to shade it, fade it towards the plate color. This will create the illusion of the plate not reflecting the font perfectly, which is what I want for this. So again, we can include it somewhere. Sorry about that. To font E. That should give us 8 colors. This is the font palette, so we can try some various variations. Now, how do we fade from one palette to the other? That's not very easy, but we do know that the plate color is 236, so we can attempt to pull the colors towards 236 manually in our head, or we could use Deluxe Paint and use spread or whatever. So let's see. Well, 236 is lower than all of these colors, so basically I should be able to just subtract 2 from the blue component and subtract 1 from the red and green, since the blue component is is, well, if the blue component had the same weight as the others, then this would read something like 233, 344, 466, and so on. But the color is towards cyan, so green and blue is the ticket. So let's try that. First of all, I'm going to keep the first line as a backup. So we'll go 4, 6. Should I? No, I'll subtract 1 from all the colors to start with. 2, 4, 2, 4, 7, 6, 8, 9, 7, A, B, 8, C, D, and 9, E. So that's our palette, and we don't want to set the background color, so because that's the plate color. And what we should do is paste this at where this mirror split is. So right after we set the modulo. Now if we'd paste a lot of move commands here, then that would delay the modulo setting to not the end of line anymore, but somewhere 50 pixels into the graphics, the bitmap being displayed on the next line, which is not what we want. So and we're obviously running out of colors, so I made a boo-boo. So there you go. Check that out. Is it darker? I can't really tell. Plus, the darkest color used for anti-aliasing now is too dark. It should probably have stayed at its original value. Is it darker? Barely. So we'll go down one more, and the darkest color should not be changed, I think, because it will become at the low range of RGB colors. Each step is massive. When you're using bright colors near white, like RGB components at hex C and upwards, then the steps are very small. For each step you change, you get a very small change, but at the low end near black, each step is huge. So we did save this, we didn't comment that out. We don't want to make our demo larger in size than it has to be. 235, okay. So I'm going to keep that, and we'll try to lower the other colors instead. I'm going to make it back up again. Oops. And let's go ahead and subtract. So 358. And this also will become too dark. This color is actually almost exactly the same as that one. What say we just lower the brighter colors in this? So let's do that. 469. So what's bright? Well, close to or above hex 8 for the components, I guess. So 69A, 7BC, I said 7BC, and 8DD. And 8DD should be the font fill color. We can test that later, but yeah, the anti-aliasing colors are kind of ruined, so that for the brighter, I'm sorry, the darker colors that are already close to the plate color, these two colors that are used for anti-aliasing, I'm going to keep those at the original values, 358 instead here. And just for fun, I'm going to set this to pink, sorry, magenta. And that wasn't the color we're looking for. That was the shine color. So where we go in here? I don't know. This maybe? Again, a quick look in Deluxe Paint would have sorted that for us, but... So we're looking for the fill color, which will... Probably it's that color, okay. So, just to verify. Yeah. So that's our fill color, which looks horrible right now. So 469. So the question is it dark enough for a more realistic? No, it's not. What we can do is, I guess, is put a copper shade through it. But for now, I'm just gonna... What's the original value? 578, okay, 469. So 358. That would be a color duplicate of this anti-aliasing color. So, you know, you don't have much playroom in the OCS palette. So we just deviated from the general general hue there, which is not gonna help us. Just for a laugh, that'll probably look horrible, but who knows? Yeah. So there's a problem. We can't really deviate too much from the 469 there. We could make it more cyan by making it less blue. Yeah. Not exactly what I hoped for, but for now it'll do. So what else is there for this mirror effect? Let's check it out, see how it looks. I'll be happy with that, actually. Okay, maybe try one more thing, and that is to fade in the plate. Right now we have a switch directly from what is it, dark purple to dark cyan, sort of. So what if we fade that in? It would be tempting to just split the height, make some more splits in the plate there vertically, and fade the color towards, I don't know, black or dark purple or whatever. But I think that would not look good, because for each split, if there are a few pixels vertically in between them, you'd get, well, you'd see the splits, simply, so they wouldn't look good. They wouldn't look like a smooth fade at all. With AGA in the Amiga 1200, the Amiga stepped up to a 24-bit palette, which is what most of us use today still. And this allows millions of colors on the screen instead of 4096. So that means that you can get smoother shades, simply. So you'd have 16 times the number of steps for each component. But we're coding for OCS now, so let's do the nicest looking thing possible on that. So I think I will try a few weights at the very top of the plate to attempt to sort of make it look more like a plate, to make it look like there's the back edge of the plate there. I don't know. So I don't really know how to do that, but the best way is to just start. Add some weights. And try that. So that would be our end color. And this would go towards purple, towards white, towards black. I don't know. That's the problem with non-black background colors, or non-black or non-white background colors. It's harder to fade to them, and sometimes it's hard to certainly if you have dark colored backgrounds, it's hard to avoid getting them too saturated. I like saturated colors as much as the next guy. So if you like that as well, please use saturated colors. For myself, well, I'll try something. So what would happen is we would fade these down until we reach 2, 1, 2, I think. I'm gonna check what the BG call is. 2 to 5. So pretty blue. As you can see, if we just subtract 1 from those two components, we're already at the background color, so there's not much to play with. I'm not sure I can do this. So what the hell, let's just fade it towards black. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Brain freeze. And I gotta say, that doesn't look good at all. It looks horrible. What we can do is just reset that. and make sort of a nod towards either white, black, or the background color. Not the background color, I think. I can see what an almost black line does for it. Not much, to be honest. 235 maybe. That'll look like it's fading into the background color, so it'll just look fuzzy. So what remains, I guess, is to go brighter. So 247. I'm gonna try this with some fake perspective, which means I'll just space these out. Sorry. I'll space these out. Probably need 4 at greater and greater distance. So here we'd, hang on. We'd skip to 9, I don't know, E. And immediately after reset it, and go to, let's see here. Well, we'll have to do this across the split, so never mind. Just do it. And I'm gonna make it a little bit shorter space at the beginning. C, D. So 3 would give us that, and so go 6. Immediately after we set it, and we'd go 9, I think, which is 1D and 1E. To reset it, we'll have to move that down below the split. Well, maybe if it wasn't so green, I don't know. Just getting the color right. No, that's good, not good enough. 237. Huh. Kidding me? Oh. So that's good. We could also try increasing this as we move towards the viewer. See how that looks. So basically you could draw all this in Deluxe Paint and try it out, but I don't know. It sorta kinda looks semi-cool, maybe. And again we get this saturation problem, but I thought it looked a bit Tron-y. there, so I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to move all of it down 3 pixels to try it. So why not just save some work in case it doesn't look good, and copy that to the end of source just to have it available for a quick undo. See if I wanted to check if we do need start. Oh, okay. We moved the. Can't do that. We need one of these at 08 because that's the plate start. Well, maybe. So I'm gonna move the rest of these down a bit. Starting with this one. Add 2 to this, which means we'll have to move it down below the split. And add 3 to this. Well, that didn't work for me. They're too spaced out now. So I'm going to restore this from our backup. Save some time. And of course I didn't check. I think I copied from here. Yep. To the 124 value. So we're back in business. Steps back. So instead of moving them down 3, I'll move them down 2. And the final one I'll move down 3 to space it out a bit more. And see if it looks weird. And again the missing start plate background color. Now you notice something there, and that's the line should cover the font. The line that is below the split should cover the mirror image, because the mirror image is inside the mirror, obviously. So while the lines are supposed to be on the surface of the mirror. And we know how to do this, so all we need to do is copy these values to set the rest of the colors. So when we set the split color, we set all the colors to 27A, and when we restore it, we do restore the font colors to their mirror values. So hang on while I enable my control delete. Keep us there. So there you go, and finally now it makes sense. Now that we have these Tron lines, now it makes sense to make the brightest plate edge color more cyan. How cyan? Well, why not take the highest value from this line, which was 27A, really? Well, obviously 27A, and raise it up a bit, so 49C maybe? Will probably be way too bright, but yeah, not quite what I wanted. So I'll try to... What I'll do is I'll keep the original ones, comment them out, and do this, and then copy from the darkest to the brightest from our line changes here, and see how that looks. So that's our first color change. Gonna check this. So that goes there. The next one, 258, and the final one, 269. Okay. Let's see where that takes us. Well, I was hoping for that to give it some zing, but I don't think it did. So this should come down probably, and the original colors might be a bit brighter, I guess. So just pull it down one. I'm just gonna check that line, the frontmost line. Yeah, that works for me. And we could copy this to where? I think I'll try reversing this. Although 124 is, I think, too dark. And I have no idea what I'm doing now. Let's see. That's the color we want. These are the more bluish colors. That was too dark, so away with you. hang on. This is probably it. What am I getting here? Well, I'll try that. See how it looks. So I made the front edge concave instead of convex now that the top color is so very bright. And I might try reversing that just for kicks. Yeah, in a minute. Don't know that that looks better actually. Maybe it does. If so, you can keep it. I'm reversing it back. And that concludes the design part of the copper of this tutorial, and I'll be happy to see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye. Actually, I should be a good coder and clean up after myself. So remove the commented code, and also we had a paste down here which we did remove with Ctrl X, so that's fine. Then. So that concludes the tutorial for real this time. Bye bye.